Hey everyone, got exams just around the corner? If you need a quick, clear, no-nonsense guide to the digestive system, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get right into it.
Think about it for a second. It's a bit of a weird thought, right? But it actually gets to the very heart of why we're here today. Our bodies are incredible, but they can't just take a burger or a piece of fruit and use it as is. Everything, and I mean everything, has to be broken down first. And that is the amazing, complex job of your digestive system.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle the big why. Why do we need to digest at all? Then, we'll meet the 3 main building blocks in your food. We'll look at the 2 different ways your body breaks them down, and we'll follow each one on its journey. After that, we'll see how all that good stuff actually gets into your blood. And we'll wrap up with some simple tips to keep the whole system happy. Sound good? Let's do it!
All right, first things first. Why do our bodies even bother with digestion? What is the whole point of this entire system from top to bottom?
Okay, here is the absolute key idea. The food we eat is made of these huge molecules that are insoluble. That's just a way of saying they're too big and chunky to dissolve into our blood and travel around our body. So, digestion is simply the process of breaking them down, smashing them, chopping them, dissolving them into tiny little soluble molecules that can get into our bloodstream and be sent wherever they're needed.
And what does your body need them for? Pretty much everything. They are the fuel for all your energy. They're the building blocks for growing and repairing yourself. They even help protect your organs. It's really simple. No digestion means no fuel, no growth, no repair.
Okay, so we know why we have to break food down, but what exactly is in our food that we're breaking down? Well, let's meet the big 3.
This little table is a lifesaver for revision. Seriously, you've got your carbohydrates, that's your main energy source, and they're made of simple sugars. Then you have proteins, which build and repair your body. They break down into amino acids. And finally, you've got fats, which are all about energy storage and protection, and they're made of glycerol and fatty acids. If you can remember this table, you're already halfway there.
Now we know what we're breaking down, let's look at how it's done. Your body has this awesome 2-pronged attack. 1 part brute force, 1 part clever chemistry.
So take a second to think. What are those 2 methods? One is all about crushing and mashing, and the other is about using special chemical scissors.
These 2 work together like a perfect team. You've got physical digestion first. That's things like chewing with your teeth or the churning of your stomach. Its main goal is to just mash the food into a pulp. Why? Because that creates a massive surface area for the second step, chemical digestion. This is where special chemicals called enzymes get involved, breaking the chemical bonds and snapping the large molecules into their tiny, absorbable building blocks.
And let's talk about those enzymes for a second, because they are the absolute superstars of digestion. They are biological catalysts, which is a fancy way of saying they speed up these chemical reactions millions of times faster than they'd happen on their own. But the most important thing to remember about them is that they are super specific. Each enzyme has one very particular job to do.
And that specificity makes them easy to remember. Think of it like a lock and key. Carbohydrates works on, you guessed it, carbohydrates. Protease works on proteins. And lipase works on lipids, which is just another word for fats. See the pattern? Easy to remember for an exam.
So we have the nutrients, and we have the enzymes that break them down. But where does all this happen? Let's follow each type of food on its own special trip through your digestive system.
First up, carbs. Their journey is pretty straightforward. Digestion actually starts the second food enters your mouth, with carbohydrates enzymes in your saliva getting to work on starch. The rest of the job gets finished up in the small intestine, where it's all broken down into simple glucose. Next up, proteins. Now their chemical journey doesn't start until the food hits the stomach. That's where powerful protease enzymes start chopping up those big protein molecules. Then, just like with carbs, the final breakdown into individual amino acids happens in the small intestine.
Finally, we have fats, and their digestion is a little different because it's a 2-part process that all happens in the small intestine. First, something called bile, which is made in the liver, comes in and acts like dish soap. It physically breaks big globs of fat into tiny little droplets. This is called emulsification. Then, the lipase enzyme has a huge surface area to work on and can easily chemically break the fat down into glycerol and fatty acids. Phew! Okay, so we've broken down all our food into these tiny soluble molecules. Job done, right? Well, not quite. how do we get all that good stuff out of our intestines and into our blood so it can actually be used?
This is maybe the most important part of the whole story. It's called absorption. It's that magic moment where the nutrients finally leave the digestive system and join the rest of the body. So, how does the body pull this off so well?
The secret lies in these incredible little things called villi. You see, the inside of your small intestine isn't a smooth pipe. It's covered in millions and millions of these tiny finger-like folds, and they are designed for one purpose: super efficient absorption. These little guys are perfectly built for the job. First, there are millions of them, which creates a ridiculously huge surface area. If you could iron out the inside of your small intestine, it would cover a whole tennis court. This massive area means there's tons of space for all of those small, soluble nutrients, and water too, to pass right through the gut wall and into your bloodstream.
All right, we've gone through all the science. To finish up, let's talk about some real-world practical advice. How do you look after this incredible system that does so much for you?
Of course, sometimes things can go a bit wrong. Take constipation, for example. It's usually caused by a lack of two key things: fiber and water. And now that we know how the system works, that makes perfect sense, right? Fiber helps keep things moving, and water keeps it all soft.
And that brings us to our final, simple takeaways. Keeping your digestive system running smoothly isn't complicated. It really comes down to eating a balanced diet with lots of fiber from fruits and vegetables, drinking plenty of water, getting some regular exercise, and making sure you handle your food safely. Simple habits, but they make a world of difference.
So I'll leave you with this one last thought to take away. Now that you know all this, what's one small, healthy choice you can make for your digestion today? Thanks so much for tuning in, and best of luck with all your revision.